Yeah. So I thought I'd do one more fun recording, really, because it appears that this YouTube channel is about 11 years old. I actually came to the internet right around say, maybe 2015 or so. This was about almost a year after I graduated from high school. So this is quite quite some time ago. I did grow up without the internet, so there is that. And, well, let's just say my style of speaking has definitely changed. And the recording quality obviously has definitely changed, improved greatly on this computing machine, on the webcam and all. Anyhow, and well, I went from living in the mountains, in the woods, on the Navajo tribe, speaking Navajo and English, right? This is in America, so when you're in America, it's like you almost are obligated to learn English because it's just a thing here. But of course, if you have an indigenous language like I have, then well, you're going to end up speaking it anyway, the indigenous languages. So that has been a big part of my sort of advocacy work, expanding on the indigenous language material, the linguistics material within the indigenous communities. So, and then it turns out that as I progressed from being a a carpenter, you see these hands were made by carpentry, by stonework, some metalwork, living in the mountains. So, adapting that work and then bringing some of that intuition and practitioner or practical approach to life engineering work, I guess. That takes some steps. There's some language gaps as well, vocabulary gaps. So, tons of vocabulary. And then, probably one of the best things I have ever, or best digital technology, yeah. Best digital tools I stumbled across or stumbled upon was GitHub. So, I was like, this is a great place to share so much experience that I have going on this academic slash intellectual slash whatever journey, analog journey. You see, even in the university education system, I did not learn from some engineering education. No one sat me down and said, "Hey, let's go through some BS program." When I say BS, I'm talking about Bachelor's of Science. I'm talking about some bachelor's degree program. I was like, well, I'm more interested in writing, to be honest, and I like designing things. So I did that. Did journalism. Did improve my writing skills in English because I could write in Navajo. Yeah, it's just language. But speaking English in some urban environment is completely different. And I must say, even though I speak English fairly well, speaking English here on YouTube matches. I mean, there is some kind of variation, I would say, arguably, that allows me to come up with some custom way of speaking, if you want to call it that. So, anyhow, those kind of activities, whether academic or personal, I tried to meet all kinds of folks out here, particularly in the state of Minnesota. How I came here is really just happenstance, and it also it's through this thing called research experience for undergraduates. That was years ago, and then they put me in a PhD program, and boom, here we are. We're almost finished. I'm almost finished. So we'll talk about those details in the next year or two when I'm completed this with this program. Then I'm out of here. Then I will leave Minnesota. That's the plan. I don't plan on staying in Minnesota. This place is not. Personally, I don't feel like this place is suited to me. It is completely different. It's a good place to do research work and get things done and then just move on. in my case. For a lot of folks, they probably would be happy to stick around. But for me, no, this is not my style, to be honest. So I'm just here in Minnesota to get this research work done and to move on. The research work, the reason why I stayed here for the PhD program was actually because of this thing called the Minnesota Nano Center. It's a great place to build stuff at the nanoscale. You're pretty close to modifying atoms individually, almost. You could, if you wanted to, with the right tools, expensive tools, and then do research on that. But either way, it's pretty, it's quite adjacent, if you will. So that's what's going on, and this channel has pretty much grown into associating with those kind of topics, and you learn sort of the mastery of yapping consistently, not rambling necessarily about things that don't matter, but rambling about things that do matter, at least sharing what I feel is worth sharing. So, language. Anyhow, that's that's what's going on, and I will actually be collaborating a lot more after this PhD work is done. Then I actually, funny enough, did get invited to lecture at Harvard University this coming 2026. So I may record some things there, and we'll see how many lectures I will give there. We'll talk about linguistics, we'll talk about quantum technology, nanotechnology, and so forth. Kind of topics that I'm associated with. Again, so, and then we may post snippets on YouTube or something, maybe some things on other social media platforms, but there we go. So it's been a really long time coming. This kind of work really takes you quite far, I would say. But again, linguistics has been a huge part in making this a lot more comprehensible, I would say, within reason. Finding the right words and then creating the vocabulary that is associated with those new kinds of, no, or new areas of research, new avenues of research. So yeah, anyhow, so you can actually see whatever I got on you on GitHub, and then there's tons of ideas that I put on GitHub. It's just really trying to share what is open access, because again, open access really does open up some opportunities for not just you and I, but also people we care about. So, and then maybe unlikely friendships would turn up. So it's good for everybody. Good, good health of the mind. It's all good. Proact is what I call proactive optimism. Not the not the intellectually lazy optimism, which means like you're being optimistic but not doing anything about anything, just kind of being happy and sometimes even clueless. That's different. But we have proactive optimism here. In my case, I'm kind of preaching proactive optimism, being optimistic, but at the same time making things or taking action on things that are worthwhile, that are within reason and within the bandwidth of one's own time to spend on, and then actually doing it. And then putting a plan, a strategy, a list, a table, a tree, whatever, and then going from there. So, for the remainder of this channel going forward, we have many great things to show. I have many great things to show with all of you. So thanks for sticking around. We will keep going. Yes. I have so many ideas to show. I'm telling you. I even have a whole list of video ideas I want to show. There's probably 50 or so, 50 plus video ideas I would like to try out. Yeah. Mm. Well, like I said, more collaborations are coming. There are some famous or even semi-famous YouTubers on the YouTube platform who would definitely like to collaborate. So there's more and more of those coming up very soon, including some of my colleagues at IBM, for example. We love to talk about things, important things. I cannot guarantee that those things are going to be posted on this channel. It may be posted on some other platform, but in the meantime, do keep on the lookout. So, anyhow, once again, thank you. Yeah. Okay, see you around.